All right. Good
Yeah.
morning, everybody.
Good
Today I
morning.
have with me Mrs. Stacie Ann Louie. She
Yes.
is a lot of things besides amazing. Um, she is a doula. She is she consults with breastfeeding moms. And are you going for your IBCLC now?
Yes, I am. Yes,
All
I
right. See, a
am.
lot of things. She's a superwoman. Um, and
Made
she
me sound more amazing.
and she also runs a postpartum moms group. So I'm going to let Stacie tell you a little bit about herself, and I'm going to let Stacie tell you about all the wonderful things she's doing to help moms in our community.
Okay, well, my name's Stacie Ann, as you guys have heard, and I'm number one. I would say I'm a mom of four. I'm a doula, birth and postpartum. I do, of course, help my moms breastfeeding itself. So I right now I'm actually a CLC, which is a certified lactation consultant. I work independently, as in going into moms' homes and helping them, or they can come into office space where I do that at Dare to Care Pediatrics and consult with me there itself. And that's the long and short. Oh, yeah. I'm also going for my IBCLC, which means that as an international lactation consultant itself. So I can see people in terms of that independently do a lot more in-depth consults without having to do that with a doctor. Not to say that it's not good to team with, I'll still always team with a medical doctor, but basically being able to run a lot more independently and being able to assess a lot more further than I can right now without having someone with me. So that's a big benefit for moms that are facing more complicated situations. And that's where an IBCLC comes in, is to help with the more complex situations, say with a child that's, on NICU or coming up with, a more in-depth feeding plan to help a mom.
Mhm.
So something to get you on track to where you want to get to, that's more than just the norm that you hear, like, a mom talk about.
Awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. And so, where do you see now? You mentioned that you see moms at Dares Care Pediatrics. Where is that?
Yeah. So Dare to Care Pediatrics is actually physical addresses in Atlanta. However, not Atlanta. Sorry, Johns Creek, Alpharetta itself. So it's Alpharetta, but it's literally on the border of Johns Creek and Alpharetta
Okay.
itself. So it's located right off Jonesbridge Road. From where I am in Lawrenceville, it takes me 25 minutes to get there. And from there to most places in Alpharetta, 15, 20 minutes.
Awesome,
So
awesome. So,
it's
moms,
pretty
it's really
accessible.
accessible. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
And now at with Dare to Care, you guys are collaborating on a postpartum moms group. Tell us a little bit more about that. What is there a specific population of moms that you are working with the moms group?
yeah, so just a little background about it. So, in terms of that, postpartum is care is pretty important to me. A lot of times, as moms, or just parents in general, we get ready for the birth and the 10 or 9 months that it takes us. We buy all the fancy stuff, we prep ourselves. But in terms of the preparation for postpartum, that lasts a lot longer, and what comes into taking care of our bodies and our minds, we don't spend a lot of time getting there. So it's for me, it's vital to also make sure that that's a pivotal point of care, and that's what with myself and Dr. Marjorie, we know that, and we see that not only. We see parents come in to the pediatric world, and we're here to help them with breastfeeding. We're here to help their kids, but we also see what they're going through. And you can see the stress, you can see the strain, you can see how it affects them, their family, their kids. So it's important for us to have this group to support parents, not just women, but men and women, new parents. They're affected by postpartum depression and anxiety, the same way they may deal with it differently, but you're affected in similar ways. So just having that space, a safe space that you can come and learn different techniques and be with people who are going through similar situations, people who have dealt with it and can say, hey, this is what it looks like on the other side. and know that and normalize it. That's another thing for us, is to normalize that this does happen. It's not a closeted thing. We shouldn't be ashamed of it. It's a normal part of life itself. We do go through imbalances when we do have babies, and it's a big thing from changing your life from 2 to 3 or from 3 to 4 itself.
Mhm.
And even though we want this great human being to enter into our lives and our family, it does take some change on us, and just having that support from us, and also having different um, people or different I'd say in their field to come in and talk to our group that we have, and different things that they're facing. Different therapists, we plan on having them come in through, or different, you know, physical, let's say, physical therapists dealing with different issues that women actually go through would be good. So just not talk on just the mental health portion, but also different things affecting you that can affect your mental health. It's because if you're affected by something else medically that you deem a stress and you don't take care of it, that will also affect your mental
Yeah.
health.
Oh, yeah.
So there
Yeah,
we go.
I just spoke with a friend of mine who is she's a therapist, and we talked about psychosocial effects of pelvic floor dysfunction on
Yeah,
moms, and it goes beyond just the pain and the
yeah,
discomfort. I mean, it affects, time off work, their
yes,
interactions with family, with their kids, with
yeah.
society, their community. It's so much more than just, oh, well, they're in pain. And
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people don't who are not experiencing that don't realize. Similarly with the moms with postpartum depression, half of them can't even get out of the house. And
Yes,
Atlanta is such an interesting place because it's a city of transplants. Most people
yes.
will tell you nobody from Atlanta is actually from Atlanta. I mean, if you find somebody from Atlanta, I swear it's like 1 in 10 people
It
are.
is.
And with that, most people don't have a community. They don't have a community. It's usually them, very little family, if any at all. And so to have these types of support systems in place for moms is huge. And even dads, it's huge. It's such a huge benefit to them.
Yeah, that's you hit on a very good point there, is that a lot of people that do live in Atlanta or surrounding areas are not from here. I'm one of them. I'm a transplant.
I am
So,
too.
yeah. And I faced a lot of those issues personally when I did come here. Is I left my family, I left my friends. I came here with, oh, we're gonna, start this job and see what happens. And, you know, you don't think about the other stuff, like how you're going to be supported and raised in a family. I didn't come here with like a built-in support. I didn't come here with, all the kids that I have today. So learning how to navigate that, and, having, luckily I found a really good group of women that I'm still friends with. And of course, my husband, of course, the same thing, that they're really good friends with, and having families that come now and then. But building a community support outside of your door, because really and truly, you by yourself is not going to work itself. And when you're feeling depressed and don't know how to deal with it, and feeling that you're going to be judged, and looking at what I call everybody's Facebook life,
Hmm.
uh, itself, it's not the reality. It's
Yeah.
nice to have the cute pictures and put them out, but the reality matters that, it did take you 45 minutes to drag yourself and the kids out the door. Somebody may have, had a boo boo. Somebody may have vomited.
Hmm.
You don't look your best and you don't feel your best itself. And it's okay to have those moments, but how are we going to deal with that? And to have a space in which you can actually easily access those things. Like for me, the idea of, we take care of families, we take care of our kids so much. We take them to visits. If they even scratch their knees, we're running to find the quickest band-aid. Ourselves, we can cut our fingers, making dinner,
It'll be
and
fine.
we'll power through it.
Hmm. It'll be fine.
we'll, we're fine. We'll power through it. and just to find some place to say, okay, fine, this is around the corner. This is where I can take my child. And also just putting that on the community to say, this is a local neighborhood space where you can go and get that support, where it's not, you don't feel judged within that space. And that's the one big thing I want to hear is like, there is not myself, there's not Dr. Marjorie saying, you know, hey, we're here to judge you. We're here to say, hey, we have personally been through bits and pieces of this, and we're currently in the crux of raising families. So we know that, you know, there's a brighter end to it, but there are times that you do fall back in a slump
Yeah.
itself. And how do you get continuous support? Because raising a child is not just from 0 to 12 months, it's until, you know, they physically leave your home. And then after that, I hear that you worry about them all the
You
time.
worry
So
about them
apparently,
just as much, apparently.
yeah, so apparently it's never.
Yeah. The lifelong thing, you
It
know,
is.
and it's funny because I myself was diagnosed with postpartum depression after I
Yeah.
had my son. And you know, like I knew something was wrong. I mean, getting up was a struggle.
Yeah.
Going anywhere was a struggle. It would take us, my kids are 25 months apart. And I
Yeah.
remember my daughter was potty trained, and every single time it would take us like 2 hours to get ready. We would
Hmm.
get to the door and it was always, Mommy, I gotta go potty now. Like, you didn't see me struggling. and
I
and,
know.
and she can't just like go in the bathroom. Like, you know, my kids have to take everything off, so now she's
Hmm.
naked again and she's in the bathroom. It's like she just slaps her leg and she's trying to just sit there like for 30 more minutes. It's like I felt like I could never get anywhere, I could never
Yeah.
get anything done. There were so many times when I left, you know, like, let's go somewhere, let's take the kids to the park. And I got to like, you know, the end of my subdivision and I'm in tears and turn back around and come home. And
Yeah.
I mean, my mom and my sister were there for at least a couple of months. And I credit them a lot to the support because there were days my sister would look at me, you did good today. We got to the end of the subdivision. We got down the street. That's better than yesterday.
You did.
And you know, like we look back and we laugh at it now, and it's,
Yeah.
but it was like it was a struggle, you know, and I
Yeah.
felt bad because they were visiting, you know, you want to take them around and stuff, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do crowds. I was getting anxious, and I've never had any issues with anxiety. And then I go, but I'm a healthcare professional. Why is this happening to me?
I know.
You know, and so then, you know, in retrospect, I go, what about the women that don't have the knowledge? You know,
Yeah.
like if I was freaking out, what are they doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so to have these things in place and to have the open conversations for people to understand it's not just them. You know, people think mental health is for the so-called crazy people. And
Yeah.
a lot of people in our society, day in and day out, suffering from issues with anxiety, suffering from issues with depression. I mean, and they'll smile through it and they'll smile with you, but you really don't know what's going on
You
behind the
don't.
smiles.
You don't. That's the thing. You're so right about it. Is that it's we attribute mental health issues to people who are so called the crazy people. But I always say, I'm like, we're always, you know, everyone's there.
Hmm.
Itself, the life we live now, it really is complicated. It really is. We get up each day. We, you know, most of us, there are two parents in the household, or not two. If you have two parents in the household, I should say, they're working. If you have one parent in the household, they're working. You're getting up in the morning, you're going out, you're coming back, you're making dinners, you're doing soccer, you're doing this. You're continuing with a life that you had before you had kids, on top of the fact that you have kids. And sometimes there's some people who actually, before you had kids, had been diagnosed or have had issues with mental health. So the issue is further complicated. And to be very specific about it is that for women, it's so important to seek help from a specific postpartum mental health professional
Hmm.
itself. And for men, the same thing is, it's great to go to a therapist to get help, but if you can go to someone who can say, hey, this is my niche, this is what I deal with, this is what I see, the
Hmm.
anxiety, the depression, whatever you're dealing with, we can help with that and give you steps to get you out of here. And to know that, you know, even though it may seem overwhelming, like I'm never going to get out of this, you can.
Hmm.
You can get out of this, but it does take a supportive team. It doesn't only take you going to see your therapist. It takes you being around a team of people, a group of people to support you out of this. And what do you know? You may get a couple friends or two out of the group. There's always good things that happens. Itself, you know, that's what happened with me. It's like, you know, I have some of my friends, there are people who I met through, you know, going through the crux of things, you know, just as you said, your sister and your mom were there. My husband, you know, I credit him to say, looking at me to say, something doesn't seem right here. Like this wasn't exactly how you were with the first child.
Mhm.
Let's, you know, stay home today from work and, you know, look after her. Or, you know, maybe you should talk to somebody else. And going to a doctor's appointment and the pediatrician's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because he recognized something was different
Mhm.
itself, but not everyone recognized that itself. So I was lucky to have two people to point that out to me to be there. But also, as you said, having that background to say, hey, I know this
Mhm.
myself. Let's put the knowledge base that I have and put pedal to the metal to get help. But
Mhm.
if you don't have that background help, where do you go itself?
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And a lot of women, my OB was very, very helpful. And
Mhm.
I remember her telling me one day, because I was in her office and I was just in tears. And she said, listen to me, if you need to come back in here and you need to sit down and cry, you come back in here. You schedule, you call me, you schedule an appointment, and you get your butt back in here. I don't know how many people have that. But
Yeah.
I also had a standalone OB. You know, it was her private practice. It wasn't a mill. You know, when you go into a lot of practices and you have multiple providers, they may not necessarily have that luxury of time.
Mhm.
So it's also very important to be mindful of your providers. And just kind of seek out what you know will work best for you or what you think would work best for you. And she was, I mean, it was great to have her. I can't tell you the amount of hugs I got from her. She was awesome. She was so awesome. And you know you need that, you need that as a mom. I mean, you know, a lot of the time people will call us super moms and people like would see us, you know, with kids, like you say, you're going to soccer, you're going to work, you're cooking meals, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're making sure that everybody is happy. But who's taking care of mom? You know,
Yeah.
who's taking care of mom? Mom needs help too. You know, mom needs somebody there looking out for her and making sure that she's okay. And you know, that's why self care is so important because, you know, you can't really take care of other people if you're not up to par.
You are so
You know,
right.
you're going to give subpar care to the other people that need you. So you really need to invest in yourself as well. And it's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I know that for a fact because I've been there and I'm like, no, 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 you know, I don't need to do this for myself. The kids are more important. But if you don't invest in yourself, you can't even give them the things that you would love to give them, the care that you would love to give them.
Yeah, you're so right about just like investing in yourself itself. Like you cannot. So it's so funny. I have this friend. She's been my longtime friend forever, and we laughed about this because we were eating, and she sat to eat, and she started eating before the kids, and our mom's just like, "Why would you eat before the kids?" And she's just like, "Well, if I don't feed myself and I fall over, who is here to take care of them?" I laughed at it. I'm like, what? But it really resonated with me because she said that before I even was
Hmm.
in that situation itself. But she kept on, she's like, if you do not take care of yourself with the simple things such as eating itself, get into breakfast, eat
Hmm.
it, you will fall over. So it's just like learning that self care is so important and put that in your routine to say before you, and let's start thinking about this not just after you have a child, but before you have a child.
Hmm.
How can we get to the point where we start getting in our heads to say, okay, fine, I took care of all these things up to having this child. How are
Hmm.
we going to prepare ourselves or have the resources to know that, okay, fine, these are the things that I may have? For women, and pelvic floor, I talk about pelvic floor therapy pretty big because that's something that I didn't realize until after I had a child itself. But just knowing resources that are there to say, okay, fine, we have this organ that holds up your entire body down there, just holds it up. And we really think that it's just one or two or three muscles.
Hmm.
No, we
It's
need a lot more. And finding time to say, okay, fine, I not only need pelvic floor, I may need a massage. I may need 2 hours by myself. I need that group where I can just have coffee and laugh. I need to have providers that care about me and think beyond just, getting in and getting out.
hmm.
Itself, I need to have people that align themselves with the way in which I think. It is out there. You can find that. You can find care that values you beyond the 15 or the 10 minutes itself. And not to say that sometimes you cannot get good care within 15 or 10 minutes itself, but finding care that says, okay, fine, how are you doing today? What is going on with you? How's your mental health? Not only your physical itself, your mental health. How are you doing today? Because we all know if we're not good emotionally itself, that's going to affect your physical. If you're not eating right, you're not supporting your immune system, you're not balanced, you're not working out. All these things are the human that you are. So finding providers and, itself that care about, who you are as a person to uplift you itself, because your health is your wealth. Fine put. You can have all the trappings, everything. We know people who have a lot of money, but at the end of the day, if you don't take care of you, you have nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And you only have one body. I say all the time, you have
one
body. I mean, you see people out there, how they take care of their car. They get a brand new car off the lot. And let me tell you, every week that car is getting detailed, that car is getting washed. I mean, if there's a speck of dust on that car is getting cleaned. How about you do that with your body? You know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, you are what you eat. Nutrition plays such a huge role in just the way that our body presents. I mean, in making sure that the systems within our body function as they should. If we're not eating properly, we're not able to support our bodies efficiently, muscles, immune system, all those things. And so we really, really need that. And it's so important. But like I said, one body.
It is. It definitely one body. You got to take care of it. You got to take care of it and let's just think about this in terms of, say, just mental health and nutrition itself. So you're talking about taking care of yourself mentally itself. If you're not, you have a parent that says, I'm going to take the step to take care of me itself. When you're taking care of you, you're taking care of your child. You're taking care of the things that you put in your body. You're also, say from the mom's sense of view, say if you're breastfeeding your child itself, breastfeeding does help with regulating things that are going on mentally with you, but it is not the cure-all and be-all of it itself. There are also things that could be thrown off because you're not mentally well and you're also breastfeeding. So it's very important to actually find out to align yourself, because I always say this thing is that breastfeeding is nature's health policy to start with. It's nature's health policy to start with. But if you're not taking care of you, that health policy is going to clip off. It's really going to clip off. There's other things that we do have to do. So it's a full circle type of thing. You take care of you, you put into your children. You're teaching your children how to take care of them. And then you're putting into that genealogy, you put it in that, the way in which they themselves parent and take care of themselves and take care of the next generation. So take care of you. So you invest in your children and your grandchildren. That's the legacy that you're giving, is to focus on yourself. It's not, you have to be selfish, to be selfless, to take care of yourself. And it's okay to take care of you. It's okay to take that hour, that 2 hours to put into yourself, to make sure you're well, period.
Yeah. And sometimes, people say, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Take 5 minutes. Take 5. Just take an extra long shower.
Yeah, I know, put on the meditative music.
I locked myself in the bathroom with my kids because when they started creeping, everybody would come in the bathroom. The kids, the dog, everybody was. I'm like, can I just stay in here by myself? And I have to lock the door and stay in there. Run upstairs and hide in the bathroom upstairs. And you could hear them downstairs. Daddy, where's mommy? And when it kind of clicked that he was like, that I wasn't there, he said, oh, you know what, I think mommy might have gone outside a second, she'll be right back. But at least I could get like 5 or 10 minutes to breathe, just to kind of rejuvenate myself before I came back downstairs. And I said, okay, let's get whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's pretty good. And I'll put something to that too, is that when your children, if you have, like, say, a younger one, an older one, and also just saying this stuff to them when they're small. I started doing this, verbalizing after a while. I say, mommy needs time by herself right now. Mom just needs to be. I say before, my spouse, like, mommy just needs 10 minutes. Mommy just needs time to recuperate. And I go and I take my 10 minutes inside my room, inside the bathroom. My bathroom is my royal office from the children. So, take that time to coop and to get in their brain that taking time for yourself is important.
Mhm.
Where are you going right now? I have my bag, I'm going out the door. Oh, I'm going to spend some time, just some time with myself. Are you going to work? Nope.
Nope.
I'm going for time with myself. So I make that be known that this is what mom's doing because I need to have that.
Yeah.
I just need to have that itself to get that, and you'll see, like, I have my daughter who will say, I'm like, what are you about to do? She's like, oh, I'm just going to go to my room, take some time by myself. And I love hearing that. And I'm like, yes. Just,
Good. Good.
yeah. I was like, take some time and take care of you. And that's what this class is about, is to take some time, take care of you, being in a space where, you can verbalize what's going on, or sometimes you don't have to verbalize. You could just come the first time and just say, hey, this is me. I'm just going to hold space here and see what it's about. And, keep on coming. And as you get comfortable with the group, you can verbalize what's going on. There are times that we're going to do things like baby care, different things, and, like, talk about massage itself and how massage can help the child, and then also how massage helps you itself. So it's not just, so we try to interwove not just taking care of the child, but also how can these things similarly can support you, so you can watch, you can listen, and then eventually you can say, hey, da 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 da.
Mhm.
And now you're in.
That
It's
sounds amazing.
so
Amazing. So, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
they can get in touch with me on my website, which is tentbirth.com, which is www.tentbirth.com. Or you can call me itself on my number. You can go to my Facebook link, which is tentbirth.com. My number is there. I'm accessible by phone, by text, by IM, whichever contact method you see that's listed,
Yeah.
feel free to do so. You can also call Dairy Care Pediatrics, their phone number. Um, I'm not hiding anywhere.
And that mom's group is the second Tuesday, right?
It's the
Second.
second Tuesday of each month. And I do say the one thing that we're asking for you to do, if you go on our Facebook page and do it that way, just click that you're going to be there and commit to being there, because we want to get away from just not just waiting for you. We want to have a full group. So we
Mhm.
want to respect other people's time and also ours. So just put that you're coming. If you have any questions and any more, you can send us a note, or you can just reach out and call me or text me
Mhm.
itself and let us know. We have times when we have a full group, and we have times when we just have one or two people. We will be there because it's worth it to sit there with one person, have that community itself. So if there's one person, there's at least three of us, because there's myself and the doctor that's there.
Mhm.
And, so there'll be a few people there to talk, and we'll have a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
And it's from 6 to 7, I should
six
say.
to seven.
Yeah,
Okay,
from
six
six
to
to seven,
seven. Second Tuesday every
second
month.
Tuesday
So
every
that
month.
means the next one is the what day is that?
Let me see. Is that
The
it's not the
13th.
8th. Let's look. I am not going to tell a lie. I'm going to look on my calendar itself. It popped up. I think so the next one is November 6th.
November 6th. Okay.
No, sorry, I'm lying. Next
13th.
one's November 13th. You are right. November 13th is the next one at 6 p.m. Go ahead and call our office. Or you can call me or go on my Facebook page, Attend Birth, and look for all the contacts there.
All right,
We're
and I'll
good to
put
go.
some of the information in the link below the video when we do this. Thank you so much, Miss Stacie Ann, and I
I
think we're gonna
appreciate
have
it.
Stacie Ann back to talk about doula services, because I'm still amazed at the amount of people who don't know what a doula is.
Oh, we should. We definitely need to talk
So
about birth and postpartum. Definitely hit on postpartum too,
yeah,
because that's another thing that people don't know about, that there are people out there that can help you after you have the baby.
yeah. So it was so wonderful to have you this morning, and I look forward to talking with you again and just educating our community and educating these women and just bringing the best for them.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.